Tidal power. Tidal power is produced through the use of tidal energy generators. These large underwater turbines are placed in areas with high tidal movements and are designed to capture the kinetic motion of the ebbing and surging of ocean tides in order to produce electricity. Tidal power has great potential for future power and electricity generation because of the massive size of the oceans. These articles explore the potential energy of tidal power technologies. How does tidal power works? The main source of the energy for tidal power is, of course, the tides. These are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon on the oceans. This means that tidal power is a renewable energy source and it also has zero emissions, making it a clean energy. There are a few different ways that tidal power is harnessed to generate electricity. The most efficient and thus widely used method is called ebb, tidal power generation. This method uses a barrage that is built at the mouth of a river or other sources of water leading into the ocean. There is a sluice that allows water to travel to either sides of the barrage. At the peak of high tide, this sluice is closed off, preventing the water from the river or other source flowing back into the ocean. Then at the peak of low tide, the sluice is opened and water begins flowing back into the ocean. Inside this sluice is a turbine which powers an electrical generator, and that is where the electricity comes from. Many tidal power barrages also include a ship lock to allow boats to travel from the ocean to the river and the other way around. This prevents shipping operation from being interrupted by the tidal power plant. The major advantage of tidal power is that it is a renewable energy and has very low operating costs. The disadvantages are environmental impact from construction and initial construction costs. Although long-term, the cost is cheaper than other energy sources, there is a higher initial cost in building the tidal power plant. The tidal power is another way to generate electricity extracting energy from the sea. See also wave power. Twice a day, innermost volumes of water rise and fall from the tides, and the UK is perfectly placed to take advantage of this free energy. Up to 20% of the UK's electricity needs could be met by tidal power in around 10 separate sites around our coastline. Unfortunately, harnessing this energy and converting it into electricity is not a simple task, and it is therefore expensive at present. However, as oil, gas, and coal prices increase and government's understanding of the importance of alternative green energy increases, tidal power will become more attractive. At present, only France has an active tidal power generator, the 240 MW Larance experimental tidal power plant in Brittany, which has tidal power generator, which has been in operation for over 40 years, pictured above. Tidal power generation. The tidal power generation works differently to hydroelectricity and wave power. A barrage or dam is built across a river estuary, example, the Severn. The water is pushed through a turbine and generator, fitted into tunnels in the barrage. As the tide comes in and goes out for shipping to be able to pass, locks are built into the barrage which can be opened to allow the safe passage. There are obvious benefits to this type of tidal power generation. Example, the dam can act as a road bridge and the nearby coastline is protected from powerful waves. However, there are also disadvantages to local wildlife as the ecosystem is drastically changed near to the dam. Tidal power turbine. Pictured below is a schematic of a tidal power turbine which uses changes in air pressure caused by the tides turn the turbine and generate electricity. This is very similar to the techniques used in wave power generation. An alternative and cheaper way of harnessing the power of the tide is to build an offshore underwater or wind farm. Turbines are fitted to large pillars built up from the seabed which are turned by the tidal flow of water generating electricity. These sorts of power stations are cheaper to build than the barrage style mentioned above and also have less effect on the fragile coastal ecosystem. However, the amount of the electricity which can be generated is reduced. There are also many more locations around the world where such power station could be built. Thank you.